I really enjoy movies. I have my whole life. The first movie I remember going to in a theater was back in 1977. And if you're 45 or older, you probably remember Star Wars being in the theaters. And ever since then, I was hooked. I think movies are the essence of storytelling. Great movies that have an impact for decades are all simply great stories. Recently, I was watching a movie called The First Knight. It's a story of Sir Lancelot, who, as you probably know, is a member of King Arthur's court. The story talks about Lancelot before he joined the court. And what Lancelot did in those days is he would travel from town to town and he would get involved in sword battles with men, townsfolk, for money. That's how he made his living. They never showed him killing anyone, but he always disabled his opponent and usually had the spear tip at the guy's throat and the guy would give up. Well, after one battle in particular, one of the townsmen walked up to Lancelot and said, "Lancelot, I'm so amazed by what you do." He said, "Can you teach me to be a sword fighter like you?" Lancelot said, "Are you sure, my good man? You want to know exactly how I fight?" Yes, I want to be just like you." He said, "Well, there are 3 rules. Number 1, you've got to know your opponent. Number 2, you've got to fight with confidence. And number 3, you have to have no concern about whether you live or die." With that, the townsman walked away and was never seen again. Now, what does this have to do with speaking? Actually, quite a bit. Lancelot's 3 rules can be applied to speaking. The first is know your opponent, or in our case as speakers and presenters, is know your audience. A huge mistake that I see many presenters make is they don't know anything about the audience they're speaking to. Are they executives? Are they younger? Are they older? Is there a racial diversity? Is there ethnic diversity? They don't know that. They just walk in cold to give their speech and hope that it works. Well, hope is not a good strategy. Do audience research. Know who you're going to be talking to. Know their backgrounds. And most importantly, know why you're there. What message do they need to hear? So that's critical. Know who your audience is. Number 2, Lancelot said to fight with confidence. Well, speak with confidence. How do you develop that confidence? Well, there are 2 or 3 critical steps. Number 1 is to know your message. Know exactly what you're about. What are you passionate about? What concerns do you have? What would you do for free if you could speak about it all day? Second, know your material from start to finish. Internalize your presentation. Now, am I saying memorize it word for word? Absolutely not, because then you can come across as stilted and not looking authentic or genuine. But you want to know the flow of your message so well that you can be in the moment with that audience that's listening to you. That's preparation, practice, rehearsal, getting feedback, taking that feedback, making adjustments, going back time and time again until you're comfortable. And the old cliche is I could wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you could tell me at any point in your speech, if I said, give me the middle, give me the beginning, give me the end, you could do it. Know it that well. The third admonition, which is the one that's interesting as a transition to the speaking world, is have no concern whether you live or die. Well, as I've pointed out in other posts I've made, no one has ever died because they gave a speech. They died while giving a speech, but not because of the speech itself. As speakers, we're not here to talk about life or death, but you have to not care about the outcome. And what I mean by that is a lot of speakers I listen to have an agenda. They're either trying to sell a product, a service, convince people that they're great speakers, win a speech contest. There are a lot of reasons that people speak that aren't the best reason. What is the best reason? It is simply this: to leave an impact on the audience, to change the way they think, feel, or act. Now keep in mind with that, you're not giving a speech before Congress to declare war on a foreign power, or you're not speaking at the United Nations. You're there to share your perspective on a subject that you have passion for. Not caring about the outcome simply means that you give your best, you give your perception or your perspective. And if the audience loves you and gives you a standing ovation, that's nice, but that's not a reason to speak. if they take your message and act on it and apply it to their lives so that their lives are just a little bit easier or better, then you've accomplished something important. In a sense, that's like living or dying, in the sense that get rid of that concern about how they look at you and be concerned about what they walk away with. So those are the lessons from the first night. Know your audience. Be confident in what you're presenting. Know it so well that you could wake up in the middle of the night and give your presentation. And number 3, let go of the outcome. Don't worry about whether they like you or give you positive reviews. Focus on giving them a message they can use, and you will be a speaker that leaves an impact long after you leave the platform. Until next time, always remember, you have a message and a story that someone needs to hear. Share that message well, present it dynamically, and you'll impact more people than you can ever imagine.